After the age of 60, your body changes in ways most people never fully understand. You may look the same in the mirror, you may feel mostly the same, but beneath the surface, something critical is shifting. Your muscles are no longer as responsive to the food you eat. The same dinner that helped maintain strength in your 30s and 40s is no longer enough. This silent shift is called anabolic resistance, and it is one of the biggest reasons seniors begin losing muscle year after year without realizing it. Here's the shocking part. Muscle loss doesn't only happen when you skip exercise. It happens every single night while you sleep, if your body does not have the raw materials it needs to rebuild. During the day, your muscles are constantly being broken down and repaired. That's normal. But after 60, the rebuilding process becomes less efficient. Your body needs a stronger signal to switch on muscle protein synthesis. Without that signal, breakdown wins. That signal comes from protein, specifically from essential amino acids, and especially one powerful amino acid called leucine. Leucine acts like a key that turns on the machinery inside your muscle cells, responsible for repair and growth. When leucine levels are too low, that machinery stays quiet. When leucine reaches a certain threshold, it activates a pathway known as mTOR, which tells your body it's time to build. In younger adults, smaller amounts of protein easily cross that threshold. In older adults, it takes more. Research in the United States has shown that seniors often require 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein in one sitting to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Yet many adults over 60 eat very little protein at dinner and almost none before bed. A bowl of soup, a slice of toast, tea and crackers. That may feel light and comfortable, but metabolically, it leaves your muscles unprotected for 8 long hours. Overnight, your body enters a fasting state. No incoming nutrients, no external fuel. If amino acids are not circulating in your bloodstream, your body pulls them from the only reservoir it has readily available, your muscle tissue. This is not dramatic, it's gradual, it's quiet. But over months and years, that nightly breakdown adds up to measurable weakness, slower metabolism, poorer balance, and increased risk of falls. Now here is the powerful shift you can make. Give your body high-quality, slow-digesting protein before bed. Not sugar, not refined carbohydrates, not alcohol. Protein. Casein protein, which is found naturally in cottage cheese and Greek yogurt, digests slowly. That slow digestion creates a steady release of amino acids into your bloodstream throughout the night. Instead of a short spike followed by depletion, you create a sustained supply. Studies conducted in U.S. universities have demonstrated that consuming casein protein before sleep increases overnight muscle protein synthesis in older adults without disrupting fat metabolism. Think of it as laying down bricks while you rest. Your muscles are not inactive at night. They are in recovery mode. They are repairing micro damage from walking, climbing stairs, standing up from chairs, carrying groceries. Even everyday movement creates small stress signals. With the right protein available, those stress signals turn into strengthening adaptations. Without it, they turn into loss. Eggs are another powerful option. They contain all 9 essential amino acids in highly bioavailable forms. A simple omelet in the evening or a protein smoothie made with milk and natural ingredients can reach that 25 to 35 gram target. For some seniors with smaller appetites, splitting protein evenly across meals during the day helps, but the bedtime window remains uniquely important because it protects against the longest stretch without nourishment. And this is not just about looking toned. Muscle is your metabolic engine. It regulates blood sugar, it supports immune health, it protects your bones. When muscle mass declines, insulin resistance increases, blood glucose control worsens, energy levels fall. Preserving muscle means preserving independence. Many older adults are unknowingly undereating protein. National nutrition surveys in the United States consistently show that a significant percentage of adults over 60 fail to meet even the minimum recommended daily protein intake. But minimum is not optimal. For muscle preservation, experts increasingly recommend around 1.0 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day for healthy older adults, sometimes more if medically appropriate. This is not about overeating, it is about strategic nourishment. It is about giving your body a clear biological message before you close your eyes. Rebuild, don't break down. Repair, don't recycle. Strengthen, don't shrink. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself whether your muscles have what they need for the next 8 hours. Because the difference between waking up weaker and waking up stronger often begins with what you do in the final hour of your day. Now, here is something most people over 60 never hear from their doctor. You can eat the right protein, you can take the right nutrients, but if your circulation is poor, your muscles will still struggle to rebuild because nutrients do not magically appear inside muscle cells. They are delivered through blood flow, and as we age, that delivery system becomes less efficient. After 60, blood vessels naturally lose elasticity. The inner lining of the arteries, called the endothelium, becomes less responsive. Nitric oxide production declines. Nitric oxide is the molecule that signals blood vessels to relax and widen. When its production drops, circulation slows. Less oxygen reaches muscle tissue. Fewer amino acids are transported where they are needed. The repair signal becomes weaker, even if you are eating correctly. This means that muscle preservation is not just about what you consume, it is about what you stimulate. Muscles operate on a simple biological rule: use it or lose it. When muscle fibers contract, even gently, they send powerful biochemical signals that tell the body they are necessary. These signals increase blood flow, improve insulin sensitivity, and activate genes associated with maintenance and growth. Without contraction, those signals fade. The body interprets inactivity as permission to shrink. Here is the powerful part. You do not need a gym. You do not need heavy weights. You do not need intense workouts late at night. What you need is brief, intentional muscle activation before bed. 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. Chair stands are one of the most effective movements for older adults. Sitting down and standing up repeatedly activates large muscle groups in the legs and hips, the very muscles that protect you from falls. Wall push-ups gently engage the chest, shoulders, and arms without straining joints. Slow calf raises improve lower leg circulation, which is especially important because blood tends to pool in the lower extremities with age. Even marching in place increases heart rate slightly and enhances vascular flow. Research conducted in the United States has shown that even low-intensity resistance activity performed consistently can significantly improve muscle strength and physical function in adults over 60. It is not the intensity alone that matters. It is the consistency and the signal. When you perform light resistance movements in the evening, you create a cascade of effects. First, you increase blood flow to working muscles. This enhanced circulation remains elevated for a period of time, helping deliver amino acids from your dinner or bedtime protein snack directly into muscle tissue. Second, you activate satellite cells, specialized cells that assist in muscle repair and regeneration. Third, you sensitize muscle fibers to the effects of protein, helping overcome anabolic resistance. In simple terms, you are priming the soil before planting seeds. Another overlooked benefit is improved glucose control. Gentle resistance exercise enhances the ability of muscles to absorb glucose from the bloodstream without requiring as much insulin. Stable blood sugar before bed contributes to better overnight metabolic balance. Spikes and crashes can disrupt hormonal patterns that influence muscle preservation. Many seniors assume that movement late in the evening will disrupt sleep. High-intensity workouts might, but controlled moderate resistance activity often does the opposite. It releases mild endorphins, reduces stress hormones, and supports a smoother transition into rest when followed by calming bedtime habits. The key is avoiding extremes. You are not trying to exhaust yourself. You are sending a message that your muscles are still needed, that you still climb stairs, that you still carry groceries, that you still value independence. Inactivity accelerates muscle loss faster than aging itself. Hospital studies in the United States have documented that older adults can lose measurable muscle mass after just a few days of bed rest. The body adapts quickly to disuse, but it also adapts quickly to stimulation. Even isometric holds, such as pressing your palms together firmly for 20 seconds or tightening your thigh muscles while seated, create measurable muscle activation. These small contractions improve neural connection to muscle fibers. With age, not only does muscle size decline, but the communication between nerves and muscles weakens. Gentle nightly activation reinforces that connection. Balance exercises can also be integrated. Standing on one leg near a stable surface for support activates stabilizing muscles that are often neglected. These smaller muscles are critical for preventing falls. Muscle preservation is not just about size, it is about coordination and responsiveness, and circulation itself is protective beyond muscle. Improved vascular function supports heart health, cognitive performance, and overall energy levels. The same blood vessels feeding your muscles also supply your brain. You do not need perfection, you need repetition. 5 to 10 minutes before bed. Light resistance, controlled breathing, intentional contraction. You are telling your body that strength still matters, that movement is not over, that decline is not automatic. Because every time your muscles contract, they speak. And when you give them the chance to speak daily, the body listens and adapts accordingly. Here's a truth that almost no one talks about when it comes to muscle loss after 60. You can eat enough protein, you can move your body consistently, but if your sleep is broken, shallow, or shortened, your muscles will still decline because the most powerful repair system in your body activates when you are unconscious. Deep sleep is not passive. It is biologically active, metabolically intense, and hormonally strategic. During slow-wave sleep, your brain signals the release of growth hormone. Growth hormone is one of the most critical drivers of tissue repair, muscle protein synthesis, fat metabolism, and cellular regeneration. In younger adults, growth hormone pulses are strong and consistent. After 60, those pulses naturally decline. If sleep quality is poor, they decline even further. That means fragmented sleep is not just about feeling tired, it is about reducing your body's capacity to rebuild muscle tissue overnight. Studies conducted in the United States have shown that sleep restriction impairs muscle protein synthesis and increases cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone that promotes muscle breakdown when chronically elevated. When you sleep less than 6 hours regularly, cortisol tends to remain higher at night, exactly when your body should be shifting into repair mode. Instead of rebuilding, it leans toward catabolism. Think about what that means. Every night of poor sleep becomes a night of incomplete recovery. Aging already creates anabolic resistance. Adding sleep deprivation compounds the problem. Deep sleep also improves insulin sensitivity. When sleep is disrupted, your body becomes more resistant to insulin. That means glucose remains elevated in the bloodstream longer. Chronically elevated glucose contributes to inflammation, and inflammation interferes with muscle repair signaling pathways. It is all connected. Now here is where you take control. Before bed, you create conditions that invite deep sleep. Light is powerful. Exposure to blue light from televisions, tablets, and smartphones suppresses melatonin production. Melatonin is not just a sleep hormone. It is also an antioxidant that supports cellular recovery. When melatonin release is delayed, deep sleep onset is delayed. That reduces the window in which growth hormone is optimally secreted. Dim your lights at least 1 hour before bed. Turn off overhead lighting. Use softer lamps. Reduce screen exposure or use blue light filters. These small changes signal to your brain that nighttime physiology should begin. Temperature matters more than most people realize. The body naturally lowers its core temperature to initiate sleep. A cool bedroom supports that process. Many sleep researchers in the United States recommend a room temperature around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit for optimal rest. When the room is too warm, sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. Consistency is another underestimated factor. Going to bed and waking up at the same time each day strengthens your circadian rhythm. A stable circadian rhythm improves hormonal coordination. Growth hormone release becomes more predictable. Cortisol peaks appropriately in the morning instead of remaining elevated at night. Even digestion affects sleep quality. Heavy, high-sugar meals late in the evening can cause blood sugar spikes followed by drops. Those fluctuations can trigger nighttime awakenings. Acid reflux from large meals can also fragment sleep cycles. That is why strategic protein intake paired with moderate portions is more effective than heavy late-night eating. Magnesium plays a supportive role in muscle relaxation and nervous system regulation. Magnesium-rich foods such as leafy greens, almonds, and seeds consumed earlier in the evening can help calm neural activity. Hydration during the day also reduces nighttime awakenings caused by thirst or cramping, but excessive fluids right before bed may increase bathroom trips that interrupt deep sleep cycles. Physical relaxation techniques enhance the transition into restorative sleep. Slow diaphragmatic breathing lowers sympathetic nervous system activity. Gentle stretching releases residual muscle tension. When your nervous system shifts from fight or flight to rest and repair, growth processes are amplified. Chronic stress is another silent disruptor. Psychological stress elevates nighttime cortisol. Even if you fall asleep, stress can prevent you from reaching the deeper stages where growth hormone peaks. Creating a wind-down routine, reading, prayer, journaling, quiet reflection, signals safety to the brain. In adults over 60, even modest improvements in sleep duration and quality have been associated with better muscle strength and physical performance in longitudinal U.S. studies. The connection is not abstract, it is measurable. Sleep is when microscopic tears in muscle fibers are repaired. It is when protein consumed earlier is incorporated into tissue. It is when inflammatory markers decline and cellular waste products are cleared. If you shorten or disrupt that window, you shorten the time your body has to rebuild. Muscle preservation is not only about action during the day, it is about protection at night. When you prioritize deep, consistent sleep, you amplify every other healthy choice you make. Protein becomes more effective. Exercise becomes more productive. Hormones become more balanced. And the rebuilding that should happen in the dark finally has the time and biological environment it needs to occur consistently. There is one more invisible force accelerating muscle loss after 60, and most people never connect it to their nightly routine. Chronic low-grade inflammation. It does not feel dramatic. It does not always cause pain, but inside the body, it quietly shifts the balance from building to breaking down. As we age, the immune system changes. Researchers in the United States often refer to this as inflammaging, a persistent, mild elevation in inflammatory markers that increases over time. When inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha remain elevated, they interfere with muscle protein synthesis. They activate pathways that favor muscle breakdown. They blunt the same anabolic signals that protein and exercise are trying to stimulate. That means even if you eat well and move consistently, chronic inflammation can dampen your results. Now consider what happens late in the evening. Many seniors reach for convenient snacks before bed: cookies, ice cream, chips, refined carbohydrates. These foods spike blood sugar rapidly. In response, insulin rises sharply. Over time, repeated spikes contribute to insulin resistance. When cells become less sensitive to insulin, glucose remains elevated longer in the bloodstream. Elevated glucose increases oxidative stress and inflammatory signaling. Inflammation at night disrupts recovery. Cortisol is also influenced by inflammation. When inflammatory markers are elevated, cortisol levels may remain higher. Cortisol is useful in short bursts, but chronically elevated cortisol promotes a muscle protein breakdown. It shifts the body into a stress state rather than a repair state. What you consume before bed either calms this inflammatory environment or fuels it. Highly processed foods often contain refined oils rich in omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 fats are not inherently harmful, excessive intake without adequate omega-3 balance can promote pro-inflammatory signaling. Many Western diets in the United States contain significantly more omega-6 than omega-3 fats, creating an imbalance that favors inflammation. Now imagine replacing a late-night sugary snack with a small handful of walnuts. Walnuts provide alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3s have been shown in U.S. clinical studies to enhance muscle protein synthesis response in older adults when combined with adequate protein intake. They help improve cell membrane fluidity, making muscle cells more responsive to anabolic signals. Tart cherries are another example. They contain polyphenols and anthocyanins that possess antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Some research suggests that tart cherry consumption may reduce markers of muscle damage and support recovery. The effect is not magical, it is biological modulation. Reducing oxidative stress allows repair mechanisms to operate more efficiently. Natural peanut butter, when minimally processed and free from added sugars, provides healthy fats and small amounts of protein that stabilize blood sugar levels overnight. Stability matters. Fluctuations in glucose trigger hormonal responses that can disrupt both sleep and muscle preservation pathways. Hydration is frequently overlooked. Even mild dehydration can elevate stress hormones. Dehydrated muscle cells do not function optimally. Water is essential for nutrient transport, enzymatic reactions, and cellular repair processes. During the day, consistent hydration supports circulation and reduces unnecessary physiological stress. At night, balanced hydration supports stable blood pressure and reduces strain on the cardiovascular system. Inflammation is also influenced by body fat distribution. Visceral fat, fat stored around internal organs, releases inflammatory cytokines. Maintaining muscle mass helps regulate body composition and glucose metabolism, which in turn reduces inflammatory burden. The relationship is circular. Muscle loss can increase fat accumulation, and fat accumulation can increase inflammation, which further accelerates muscle loss. That cycle can be interrupted. Spices such as turmeric and ginger, used earlier in the day, contain compounds studied in the United States for their anti-inflammatory effects. Leafy green vegetables provide antioxidants and magnesium that support metabolic balance. Fatty fish like salmon, rich in EPA and DHA omega-3s, have been associated with improved muscle protein synthesis responsiveness in older adults. The goal is not perfection, it is direction. Each night, your body evaluates its internal environment. If inflammation is high, resources are diverted toward defense. If inflammation is controlled, resources can be allocated toward repair. Muscle tissue is metabolically expensive to maintain. The body preserves it when conditions support growth. It sacrifices it when conditions signal stress. Late-night alcohol can also amplify inflammatory responses and disrupt sleep architecture. Even moderate intake may impair overnight muscle recovery by altering hormonal patterns. Minimizing alcohol close to bedtime protects both sleep quality and anabolic signaling. Small decisions accumulate. A sugary snack versus protein and healthy fats. Alcohol versus herbal tea. Refined carbohydrates versus whole foods rich in antioxidants. You are either lowering inflammatory noise or increasing it. And when inflammation quiets, muscle cells become more sensitive to protein, more responsive to exercise signals, and more capable of rebuilding through the night. Muscle loss is not a single event. It is the result of repeated nightly environments that either favor breakdown or support repair. By calming inflammation before bed, you shift that environment toward preservation, resilience, and sustained strength as the years advance.